Tell me how you, talking about Milligan Seacombe, and which leads us naturally onto the Goons, how in fact did you get your job on the BBC? I believe you used some subterfuge there, didn't you? Not to say some conning with your voices.
Yes, actually, I was pissed off. Oh, excuse me. Anyway,
Fed up.
Fed up, right. I was getting nowhere fast, you know. And I noticed that Roy Spear was doing a show at the time called Showtime, yes. And the compere was Dick Bentley. And there were lots of new acts, you see. And I'd written in I don't know how many times to try and get on the show, no reply. The secretary said, Mr. Spear, blah, blah, blah. But I got nothing to lose. I thought, well, I'll phone up. So we're doing these impersonations, and one of the big shows on the air was Much Binding in the Marsh, with Kenneth Horne and Dickie Murdoch.
Right.
And I just thought I'd do it. You know, you do things at certain times in your life. You've got to get ahead, you know. You've got to... So I thought, if I stay here, I'm dead, you know. Even if he kicks my ass out of there, it doesn't matter, as long as I make some impression.
Right.
So I phoned up, and I thought, being a senior producer, Spear would probably know Horne and Murdoch, you see, who were very big then. And I thought, if I click with the secretary, I'll get through, right? So I said, hello, this is Ken Horne. Is Roy there? Now, once she said, oh, yes, she is Kenneth, I knew I was right. So, got on there, and Roy said, hello, Ken, how are you? He said, I said, listen, Roy, I'm phoning up because I know that new show you've got on, Showtime or something. Dickie and I were at a cabaret the other night, saw an amazing young fellow called Peter, what was his name? He said Peter Sellers. Sellers. Anyway, I think it would be very good if you probably had him in the show, you know, or something like that. Just a little tip. We just go around looking, you know. He said, well, that's very nice of you, you know. And then it came to the crunch, and I said, it's me. He said, what? I said, it's me, Peter Sellers talking, and it's the only way I could get to you. And would you give me a date on your show? And he said, you cheeky young sod, he said. He said, what do you do? I said, well, obviously do impersonations. I was 22 at the time. And anyway, I went up there and I got a date on the spot, and I got a good write-up, first write I've ever had in my life, you know. It's really nice.
Was getting into films as easy as that, Peter, or
no? Films were a sort of closed shop.